good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
You don't need me. You don't need me. This is it. This is the show that I look forward to every year. We're going to make music. We're going to make turkey music, and if I'm fired up, I am fired up for an 82-year-old man. Still waiting on his new shotgun. It's not here yet, Pat Pitt. I'm waiting on it, though, but I'll be there. This is our annual turkey hunting show, and we have the usual guys over there. That's him. That's Steve Turpin. Turpin Game Calls, been in the business since Columbus came to America. Pat Pitt, who was there when Columbus came to America, is with us over there now. And Andy, look, can you be quiet? Andy Tweed, the short timer, the TWRA.
You got it.
And the pun master himself, Gene Smith.
Good morning. Good morning.
There he is. And, of course, we got Bill Cooksey on the line. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, folks. Man, what a crew in that studio.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
We miss you, Bill. The old days, we'd all stand out next to this tree out here. We hope for lightning.
Yep.
No, we didn't. But it's turkey time, and we're going to shoot this thing right off. As I said, we got a man on from South Carolina because he's doing what he's done for 20. How long? How long you been going?
31 years guiding, 29 at one outfit.
All right, and that's what's the name of that outfit in South Carolina?
Blackwater Hunting Services, Ulmer, South Carolina.
All right, and we got the one and only Ricky Hoot Hazelgrove. You're not the mayor of Toon, are you? I mean, you're not the mayor.
I really would rather play politics in the woods than downtown.
Hoot is with us, and we're going to kick it off with him because he's got to get out and get back to the woods over in South Carolina. And you've been over how many days now? When did that season open?
It opened. They backed it up 10 days. It opened the 3rd of April this year.
Okay, yeah.
We've been wide open ever since.
And then you make that trip. That's near where the man served when the country called him. How close to Parris Island is that place?
It's 109 miles inland from Parris Island.
And how long you in the Marines?
20 years active and 10 in the Fleet Reserve.
And just so good to have Hoot with us. And we're going to get Hoot back in the studio when he gets back from South Carolina and he gets back to the regular turkey hunt over near his home in Toon, Tennessee. But I wanted to cook this show off with Hoot, mainly because I know how much he loves this sport, this endeavor, how much I love it. I can't vacuum the den, but I used to be able to crawl on my stomach 100 yards and go get a turkey. But I don't know, Pat, those days are over now. I'm not running, gunning, I'm just gunning, okay? My running days are over. But, Hoot, I'm asking everybody on the show today. Bill, get ready for it, Cooksey. Get ready, guys, in the studio. First turkey. Tell us about it, Hoot.
First turkey, I'll make it very brief. 1973, I heard a turkey. 1975, I killed my first turkey. And it was in, let's just say, the great swamps of Hardyville, South Carolina.
Okay, all right. You were in the Marines then, I assume. You were in the Marines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can't even remember the first owl hooter that ever hit the market way back then.
Yeah.
But it was on one side of the swamp and I was on the other because I had to actually run, swim, chase, jump. I crippled my first crippled turkey, but I got him.
I got
him now.
Okay, and that memory, you can't take that memory away from you, right? I mean,
and I'm going to tell you one thing: what? I have been hooked ever since.
I think there's some guys in the studio that's been hooked too. I mean, not H-U-K like the wardrobe I wear, but the H-O-O-K when it comes down to it. Because I'll tell you about mine later in the show today, folks, as we talk turkey all what we call the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio program in our 25th year. And this man here in the orange outfit, Mr. Gene Smith, was there when we started. And always good to see Gene in the studio, our pun master. But, all right, Bill Cooksey, you just heard Hoot talk about his first one. What about you?
Well, my first was pretty anticlimactic. I just kind of lucked into it. I think every year I like to talk about the two firsts that are most important to me.
What's that?
The first was my oldest son Sam's first turkey.
Okay.
Opening day of 1998 in McNairy County, Tennessee, and we had my father-in-law Bob Hanna with us.
Yeah.
And it was an awful morning. It was windy and cold. I believe it was the last Saturday of March.
Okay.
And, we used to open that early. And we were walking, and I cut on a call, and we heard this sucker gobble. And all three of us, did we actually hear a gobble? And walked 30 yards into the woods, and this bird came up through the woods, just strutting the whole way, gobbled every time I called, and I called way too much, like I still do.
Yes.
But he came on in, and he did the whole deal, and Sam was able to kill him, and that was Sam's first turkey hunt after his mom and I married.
Yeah.
And then about 15 years and 200 yards separated that one from Bill's first turkey.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we were literally within 200 yards where Sam killed his first one.
Oh,
and,
man.
So that's just both of those are far more cherished than any of the turkeys I've shot.
That gives me goosebumps. And I got to ask you, as I'm going to ask these guys in the studio today also, what is it about turkey hunting, Hoot?
I don't know. You know how certain outdoor sports, they say it takes a certain breed of people?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to ever expose yourself to the true passion of turkey hunting,
yeah,
it'll never leave you, ever.
It won't, will it?
I don't care what your age is. I mean, it's just amazing. I get so excited. Like guiding, I meet different people from almost virtually, literally every state, and they can't figure out how almost a 70-year-old man can get that excited when he's been doing it so long.
You're just a pup.
I get extremely excited.
Yes, extremely excited. All right, Turpin, you're listening over there. Turkey number one for you.
I was at Shelby Forest with my dad.
Had to be Shelby Forest.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had I had gone the first 5 years that I hunted without hearing a turkey gobble.
5 years.
5 years. So the first day we did, Dad and I finally got set up on this turkey. Now, he wasn't the one we killed, but we had 3 jakes came in.
Yeah.
And I killed one of the jakes. Mm-hmm. And to show you the difference between that time period and now, people were running across the parking area to come look at the jake.
Yeah.
Because it was that big a deal. They would only kill, they'd set a harvest record the first year I started.
Yeah.
They only killed 600 and some odd turkeys for the entire state.
How old were you think?
I was 20.
You were 20?
Yeah.
Okay. And Hoot, how old were you when you killed that first one?
20.
20.
Yes,
Cooksey,
sir.
Cooksey, your 2 sons, they were young folks at that time, I'm assuming.
12 and 12
wow.
is what that worked out to. And I was 26 before I killed my first one. But we didn't have turkeys, kind of like Steve just mentioned.
No, I can remember in Pat Pitt, the man that we look at as far as waterfowl hunting, but I know how much turkey hunting is. Your first turkey, Pat? Look at the microphone there. How old were you and where?
Well, my first turkey was across the Mississippi River above Dacus Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Hunting with Bill Abernathy of Wonder City Cafeteria, owned it.
Yeah.
And he kept telling me he'd take me turkey hunting. I'd never been. The first turkey I ever saw killed was in East Tennessee.
East Tennessee.
And I was trout fishing, and a guy came walking down off a mountain carrying this bird that I thought was just beyond belief. And back then, we didn't have any turkeys. This was before Tennessee got them going.
Yeah.
And anyway, Bill took me hunting. It was a dreary morning, April.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes were so bad.
Oh, there's big.
I was tasting off, dripping down off my hat. We didn't have thermocells.
Oh, no.
And I heard a bird gobble on the limb several hundred yards off, got set up, and I couldn't be still for the mosquitoes. I mean, they were making so much noise, humming, that you could barely hear the turkey.
Been there, done that, yeah.
But Bill told me, he said he's coming, and that's when I got real still, and I was shooting a 870 with a modified choke and an ounce and a fourth of sixes.
Sixes, okay.
And Bill said, there he is, and all of a sudden, I mean, it was just like God showed up. It was standing there in front of me.
Yeah.
And killed him just dead as a miracle. And, no super-duper choke or load or nothing. I thought, well, this is simple. Then I got a big dose of reality.
Yeah, then you got a big dose of reality. And I know, Hoot, when you listen to this and the memories that come back to it, you love to take kids hunting too. I know that, right, Hoot? I mean,
correct. That's the future right there. If you compare it to brim and bass fishing, yeah, bass will just tear your rod all to pieces. But that first brim, you'll never forget it.
Yeah, you're putting in the brim, and of course I was there. Of course, we think that the turkey was born and became what it is today, thanks to Shelby Forest. Because I've been out there when they trapped the birds and they sent them all over to where Steve hunts now. We ain't gotten any, I mean, they're all over there, seems like. But this is opening day of the turkey season. We had great reports from the youth hunt last weekend. And we're going to have Keith Hickman on in a couple of weeks to talk about the big hunt for the youth that they hold over in near the Tennessee River. We'll talk to him about that. But thank you, Hoot, buddy. Get back to serving over there. Can't wait for you.
Sir.
Can't wait for you to get home, buddy.
I have a female police sergeant from from Virginia that I'm guiding. This is her fifth time.
All right.
Coming.
Yes.
And we've been lucky enough to cadet every year, so we're going to go hard and heavy this afternoon.
All right, get him, Hoot. We'll talk to you, buddy, okay?
Appreciate it, Larry. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. All right, Bill, you hang on. We're going to take a break on out. There he comes. That's the music. Yeah, we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
I told my wife not to come this morning, but she still showed up making those noises over there. Steve Turpin, thank you, Steve. And you think, if you're thinking that's some kind of African animal, Bill Cooksey will tell you it's not, okay? I mean,
no, it was not.
It was not, but we know what that is. We're talking turkey on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good Saturday morning to all you folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM every Saturday morning from 6 to 7:30. News Talk 101.5 in Jackson from 6:30 to 8. And, of course, right here in Memphis on AM 790, part of the Odyssey family of stations from 9 to 10:30. We get up late here in Memphis all the time. And we're going to continue this conversation. We've got Cooksey on the line, of course, as our co-host, but we got Steve Turpin over there. Your family's been in the business, what, 15, 20 years, Steve? How long?
About 18.
How long?
Over 125.
That lets Ron Jolly out. He wasn't there when you started. Somebody told me he was, And Pat Pitt's over there. We're not going to age Pat because we know he's still a whippersnapper. When I asked him where he parked at the station today, he parked 6 miles down the street over here, just to get himself ready for turkey season. Andy Tweed's over here. Gene Smith is over here. And, folks, we're going to talk right now. Bill Cooksey, we know that half of this team is going in the Legends of the Outdoor Hall of Fame because the other guy takes care of everything else. Is there a team? And that's, of course, our good friends Tes and Ron Jolly. Good morning, folks. How y'all doing?
Hey, Larry.
Hey.
We don't mind talking about turkeys, do we, Jolly? No, that's you, Ron, if you didn't know. Okay. It's a pretty special thing.
That's why we wouldn't talk to each other if we didn't talk about turkeys.
Well, I've asked everybody, and I know Tes is famous for that photographer, that camera that she carries with her everywhere she goes, kind of like my late friend Ron Wong. We're still in shock on Ron's passing, but I got to ask, we're asking people today about the memory of that first turkey they killed. Now, Cooksey's already explained that he remembers his two sons killing their first turkey 200 yards from each other. I mean, the spot. where they killed the turkey. Pat Pitt's over there lamenting about how old he was when he killed it. Now, he was 4. And, of course, Turpin's been around forever with the Turpin family. How about it, Jolly? Ron, how about it? First turkey.
Well, the first turkey I ever killed, I was 8 years old, and I'd been going since my dad started taking me when I first turned 5.
5, okay.
Because he could not hear very well, and there weren't very many turkeys. So my job was to hear a turkey and point him in the right direction. And a lot of times he put me back in the boat, take me to land, and my mother would take me to school.
Okay.
And he would go back and try to kill that turkey. So finally, I'd missed one, and finally he called up a turkey, and I got a bead on him, and I shot, and I was just elated. My dad looked at me and said, "Boy, you missed that turkey." I said, "Well, I didn't." The turkey didn't flop.
Oh.
But there were 2, and I didn't see but one, and he didn't see but one. And it was a big old Super Jake. They were gobbling. I mean, nobody told me any different. So my first one was a Super Jake.
That's okay. A Super Jake, and you were 8, you say, Ron?
Yes, sir.
8 years old. All right, Tess. Now, we know what turkeys mean when you live with Ron Jolly. And I know what you do. You folks down in Alabama have an assortment of birds down there for you. So talk about your first one, Tess.
Well, I didn't even know Ron Jolly when I shot my first bird.
Okay.
So. A good friend of mine, I was in my 30s. We had hunted hogs and deer all my life.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Alabama, got acquainted with a friend of mine, and he said, "You want to go turkey hunting?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he took me down into some old southern hardwoods with the Spanish moss and the live oaks and on Line Creek down near Montgomery. And we snuck in there in the dark, and, of course, it was really spooky and a lot of sloughs and backwaters and all. And he sat down next to a tree, and the birds started gobbling back in the swamp. And he said, "Now, you can't move, And long story short, because I know you got a lot of people, this turkey almost ran up over me. He was Johnny was sitting behind me just a few feet where we could communicate.
Yeah.
And this bird came right to the call on a dead run, and he got about 20 feet, and he said, "You better shoot."
You better shoot.
And I shot my first bird right there in that swamp, and I was hooked. I mean, I had never seen a bird respond like that, and it lit the fire.
And I know when we hear these stories about the first bird, if you've ever seen any of Tess's magnificent photography work, you not only you've hunted these birds, but you just love to capture them on film, don't you, Tess? I mean, it's obvious there's something there that associates you with this great bird.
Yeah, I love to study their behavior, and they just fascinated me with all the calls and the different ways that they display. They're just a super beautiful creation, and I'm an outdoors person. I want to be outdoors, and it was a natural fit here on the farm. Being springtime, is a great time to be outside, and there's just so much to learn about turkeys. A lot of people think they all look alike, but they don't.
No.
And I've been blessed to have an opportunity to really be up close to them for about 28 years now, and I still learn something new all the time, and I love it.
Yeah.
Tess, this is Cooksey. I just want to know, what kind of percentage would you put on the number of turkeys you've had come running over you like that first one since that time?
Not many. Well, I could say a few, but not many. Not like that one.
Not like that one.
Bird came in running.
5 more years.
Yeah, that's right. That comes every 35 years or whatever it might be. Again, we're talking to Tess and Ron Jolly on Outdoors with Larry Ray on this special turkey hunting edition we do every year about this time. And, of course, the season opens today. in Tennessee, and the youth hunt was last weekend, and so it's always good. And it goes through, let me get the statewide, it goes through May 25th, 2 days after my birthday. All right, I can have a birthday hunt this year. Good. Okay, I'll be I'll be a middle-aged for a 164-year-old man on birthday this year. But all right, Jolly, tell us about what's this special. Tes has explained it greatly about what's the drawing card for you for this bird, because I know you got turkeys for tomorrow, a great organization you guys have put together. You're talking about the dirt, and you're a man of the dirt, so to speak. But what is it about this bird, Ron, that has made you so passionate?
I agree with a lot that Tes said. I've been enamored with them for a long, long time, and to me, it's the gobble. I had a guy tell me one time I was playing a video at a sports show, and this turkey gobbled right on the microphone, right into the camera. And this guy was standing there, and he said, "If that don't light your fire, your wood's wet."
Your wood's wet. That's it. That's probably it. Because get in there, Pat Pitt. I want to ask you, as you listen to the Jollies talk, Pat, why does the turkey so inspire you? Get up to the microphone and tell us that. I know you're a waterfowl hunter, you're a taxidermist, and all these different things, Pat. So talk about the turkey itself.
Well, we're dealing with an animal that's got a brain the size of a pecan that can make fools out of grown men.
That's right. Yeah.
And I've kind of got a vendetta against him for being that way. They have made me do some of the dumbest stuff, and I've seen them do some dumb stuff. And I don't think turkeys are smart. I think they're wary, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
But I think I've killed more turkeys with patience than I have anything else.
Yeah.
Because if he ever answers me, sooner or later, he's going to come by where I am 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, yeah.
But so many times, and I've done it, I think, well, I need to get up and move. And about the time I move, I hear a putt.
No, my moving's
game's over.
Yeah, and my moving is over that. And again, we're talking to Tes and Ron Jolly and Pat Pitt's in studio. How about it, Turpin? I mean, what's it about this bird? Your family's been involved in the business for over 100 years. Talk about it.
Yeah, I don't even have any idea how I got so hooked into it. I was not allowed to turkey hunt until I was 15 because all the turkeys back then were in these dangerous remote river bottoms.
There you go.
So my dad felt that you needed to be a more mature age. So I would
You weren't very mature at 15.
No, but I could get by. And so
I'm getting to you, Tweed. Hang on.
I would watch my older brother and him come back, and I mean, I was hooked on it before I ever was allowed to go.
Oh, that's I think that's a lot of us simply. I don't know. I can watch it. Here I go. I'm getting in trouble like I have been for 25 years on the radio. I can watch all the deer videos I want to, killing big deers, but I tell you what, I want to be there when the turkey comes. I don't want to watch it. No, I'm sorry. I love the pictures, Tes. Don't get me wrong on that. But the experience of being there and being part of some of the most stupid things I've ever done, and I will talk about those later primarily when we're off the air. No, I won't on that. But hey, we appreciate what? Yeah.
Can I say something to that?
You sure can.
Just remember, every picture I've taken, I've had an encounter
That's true.
that I've been close to a turkey. It's just like hunting.
It is.
But don't tell anybody.
It is. I realize
Photographing is so much like hunting. It's the biggest thrill, and you get to see some crazy stuff.
Well, I've tried it, and most of mine are jumping around because that's my arm going that way, up and down and everything. Hey, thank y'all, Tes, Ron. Thank you for being with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll see y'all in August. Okay? All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us, Larry.
All right, talk to y'all. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. There he goes. Oh, man. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Y'all just don't know how much fun we have here every Saturday morning as we're in our 25th year. Don't we have fun, Gene?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we have to get up sometimes, but sometimes we sit down. We
That's
just have
true.
a lot
That's
of fun. And Mr. Gene Smith is sitting right next to me. He brought his bodyguard there.
Yeah.
Short-time bodyguard, Mr. Andy Tweed, better known as Hutch's dad. Okay, I got that. And when I call Andy now, I get Hutch's name on there instead of him. Pat Pitt, still awake, Pat? Okay, Pat's still awake over there. He's getting ready to go to Mexico on the 23rd of April. Right now it's out, Pat. All the people at Kroger know you're going to be gone for a while. But Steve Turpin, how long has that family been in the business again? Tell me that one more time.
Over 125 years.
125. You ought to have it by now. I mean,
you still got the first one you made?
No. But he finds them. He does. Hey, let's talk turkey hunting with this guy next on our list. He's a regular here on Outdoors with Larry Ray every year for this show. You folks know him. I think he's got a little passion. Don't you think he likes turkey hunting, Steve Turpin? Yeah. Well, we're going to let him talk about it. Alex Rutledge. Hey, Alex, how you doing, man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I hope the weather's beautiful down there where you're at.
It is.
Beautiful up here in southern Missouri.
Well,
man, it's beautiful. Turkeys are gobbling.
All right.
They're henned up, Larry. They're henned up already up here.
Oh, come on. Never mind.
Yeah.
You heard that, Turpin? You're not going up there, though, are you?
No.
You're going to East. You're going to Middle Tennessee, right?
Middle Tennessee and Maine.
In Maine. In Maine?
Maine.
You going to Maine?
Oh, going to Maine.
The Main Street? Or Maine what? What are you going to, a state called Maine?
Yeah. First time up there.
Well, you only got 3 up there, so you ought to have a quota pretty soon. But you ever turkey hunted in Maine, Alex Rutledge?
I never have. I've been invited up there several times, but I've never been able to make it work out. This year I'm going to Mexico for my first time.
There you go.
I'm concerned about the borders down there and the drug cartel, but they said they'll pick us up at the airport. The Americans pick us up and we'll be safe. So.
Well, that's Pat Pitt over there. He's heading to Chihuahua. Of course, I can't spell it, but I like to say
That's where I'm going.
7,000 feet
I'm
up,
going
he said, and he's not even going to walk that high. They're going to just dump him off on top of the mountain in the helicopter, I guess. Yeah, he can't wait. But, Alex, talk about it. We've asked everybody, and we haven't got around to some people here, but talk about that first turkey, Alex. I know, can you remember it? I mean, it's been a while, probably.
Can I remember it?
Tell me about it.
I'll never forget.
Tell me about
the first turkey I ever killed, I was 14 years old.
There you go, 14.
And I was 14. I was born and raised in southern Missouri, Birch Tree, Missouri.
Yeah.
And I had to milk cows as a kid growing up. And we sold our milk to our neighbors.
Uh-huh.
My mama would strain it, and my dad would take me around to deliver it.
Real milk.
And I'll never forget. I had to go out and try to get a turkey killed to get back and milk that cow by 6 or 30 or 7. So that had to be an early hunt. I would leave the house before daylight, and I'll never forget it. I heard these turkeys from the highest spot in the area, and I chased them for about a half to 3/4 of a mile back into a place we called Mammoth Pond.
Yeah.
And I never had turkey calls. I used my voice and got in there on that Mammoth Pond. And I was hen yelping to them, and they'd answer me, but then one come up on me quiet, and he flew off and spooked him. And so I never had a watch, and I had to learn to tell time by the sun. My brothers taught me how to do that, and my daddy.
Whoa! Now you didn't have a watch, so you didn't.
No.
You took time. Okay, this is real turkey hunting here.
This is real. I was too poor to have a watch.
Oh man. Okay.
Serious.
Yeah. Okay.
And we learned to tell time by the sun, where the sun was at, get within 30 minutes to an hour of it anyway. So anyway, I'm back there, and it's late morning. It's probably 11 o'clock, and I'd doze off. That sun was shining on my back and making me warm. I'd doze off. I'd wake up, and I'd go, ow, 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 ow.
There you go.
Ow, 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 ow. I'm doing it with my voice again.
Yes.
And after, every 5, 15, 20 minutes, I'd get up and do that, wake up, sit there. And I had an old single-shot shotgun. I'll never forget it, an old Stevens.
A 12 or 10? What did you have, 12?
12 gauge.
12 gauge single-shot Stevens. Okay.
And I wouldn't weigh 70 pounds soaking wet when I was 13, 14 years old.
Yes.
Anyway, I heard something walking.
Huh? What? Cooksey, you say something?
I said that gun would smack you, that single shot Stevens.
Cooksey says it would smack you.
You're getting ready to hear what it did.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and I called and I heard something walking, coming towards me. And it was really loud.
Yeah.
Down in the holler, coming up to me, and the sun's shining off to my back, and I thought, I looked up at the sun. I said, "Oh man, it's noon or later."
Yeah.
And I looked down there further, and I saw these redheads come up over the hill. I thought, "Oh my gosh!" My heart went to pounding. And
is that your heart pounding?
That old shotgun.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Your heart was pounding.
I raised that shotgun up and cocked it back on my knee, and the first gobbler that showed himself, I fried his brain and blew him away at like 25 yards. The forearm fell off the shotgun. The gun come apart.
The gun came apart.
Boy.
The gun came apart.
It did. And I run down to it. He didn't even flop. He was so close. And the longbeards was behind them and didn't even touch it. Of course, they was out not in line of fire. And that was my first turkey. And I'll never forget walking all the way back about 3/4 of a mile up that Mammoth Pond steep hillside and over the hills.
What a memory. What a story from Alex Rutledge, the man that we all know loves turkey hunting so much. But to get into this, before I let you go, Alex, I'm going to ask you the question we've asked there. What is it about turkey hunting that makes it such an important part? Okay.
I really think it's the interaction and how it makes your heart race and makes your mind think and wonder how big is this gobbler by the way he gobbles, and just the interaction and calling him close and watching God's creation is what it makes you lose sleep, you lose weight, and it keeps you. Hey, I'm 60 years old and I'll still walk 2 or 3 miles to a gobbling turkey. I will.
Well, you're just a pup. And we got another pup on the line. Mike Giles, you with us now?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're listening to Alex Rutledge as he relates that to us. And, Mike, I know you're on with us right now, and we got a little hesitation in the line. I don't know what that might be, but tell us as Alex listens in, the first turkey you killed.
Well, it's very memorable. Back in my younger years, probably my senior year in college, met this beautiful young lady, and went out to Okeechobee Lake and drove down on the highest hill in the area. And, they had a picnic area up there, and we were...
You killed a turkey on a date? You're trying to tell me that?
Well... that's what led to it.
Oh, that's what led to it. Okay, all right.
I'm listening.
Okay.
To her, and all of a sudden, something, it's like a light bulb comes on. I said, "That's a gobbler." It got louder and louder to me. He was about a 1/4 mile down in the bottom, and so next morning, that's where I was, and I got set up down there in that bottom on Okeechobee Wildlife Management area, and not long after daylight, my first turkey died.
The first turkey died. Okay, you put it bluntly there. They had the funeral right there, right? I mean...
Yes, it wasn't a real big thing. It's knowing the lay of the land. I went in there where I thought I heard him, and I sat down and commenced doing my thing, and it was, never forget it.
Well, and again, we got Alex Rutledge listening to us, and Alex, I know you and Mike Giles have not been good for business for the Turpin game calls, because you guys don't necessarily. I know Mike, and I'm sure Alec. I heard him do earlier. Mike has that ability to just make noises like turkeys. Mike, I don't know how you did it, but give us a little music, Mike. See there, Turpin, just bring Mike Giles up. You won't have to make all them box calls and slate calls and trumpet calls and all like that. And Alex, you kind of picked up that habit too, can't you?
Yeah, that's how I started out, voice calling, and I was Goblin answering Mike there.
Yes.
And he sounded great, Mike, by the way.
He did.
We talked turkey together.
I know. I've been privileged to hunt with some great people, and that includes the great Harold Knight of Night and Hail, and when he pulled out that piece of Johnson grass and made those sounds for me, I said, "Okay, Johnson grass, go along the road and pick up a turkey call." Hey guys, I appreciate you, Mike. I'm sorry we didn't get hooked up with you quicker, but always great to have you on. And Mike's got that book out. Tell him, Mike, about what's going on with you real quickly.
Well, I've got a limited edition Legends of the Spring,
yes.
Masters of the Call. It's about people from all around the country. I've got less than 60 left.
There you go, folks. Great.
And, they can contact me. And I'm first come, first serve, and I really hadn't pushed it, but I've got some great feedback off of it.
I do. And, Alice, what's going on with you right now? We need to let the people know.
I'm actually sitting in front of Legacy Farm and Lumber, one of my dealers replenishing turkey calls. They wanted me to come down there and replenish them. So everybody, if there's not a dealer near you, you can go to my website, www.AmericanRootsOutdoors.com, and listen to all of our shows, watch our shows, and buy my turkey calls.
I know this is a great man of faith there. I always appreciate Alex being on with us. Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to y'all down the road, okay, folks? All right?
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break on the Outdoors with Larry Ray. There we go. That's real. That's music. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry. Play me some music over there, Turpin. All right, now, so what are we playing over there? What do we got there?
This is about an 80-year-old Tom Turpin box call.
That is 80 years old?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah.
And first time I took it out was last year. Because I bought it on the secondhand market.
You did, okay.
And
you bought one of your own calls.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah.
And got a double with it with my brother. First time ever hunted with it. So,
did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what do you prefer before we go to this next guest? What's your preference and all the entourage of calls that you've got?
I use every time I hunt. I have a box call and a trumpet.
Okay.
And like the great friend of ours, Robert Clift used to say, if you can't kill him with those two, you can't kill him.
There you go.
I've taken my trumpet with me so many times, and all I can play is taps and, Dixie and all that kind of trumpet. How about you, Pat Pitt? What's your preference?
I've struck more birds with a box call.
There you go. Yeah.
Everything else that I've tried, somebody else has tried, nothing.
Yeah.
And I hit that box call, and for some reason, I can't imagine how many turkeys I've had to answer a box call when they wouldn't answer anything else.
Well, I know I've got one of the last calls from Robert Clift. I've got some other ones. I'm a slate man. I like slate, too, because I can keep it pretty well sharp and tune-wise and everything and don't scare them off normally. But I don't know. But it gets to that point. Hey, we've got another guest on. Bill Cooksey still with us on the line. We've got Tony Dolle joins us right now. He is the executive director for our Tennessee Outdoor Writers Association, based out of Mount Juliet there. And Tony stepped in when we really needed someone to fill the gap after the loss of Max Moss. And Tony has stepped in, done a great job. And I know Tony is going to join us again next week. Tony, as we pay tribute to the late Ron Wong. And I appreciate you, Tony. You would not believe, I don't know how we're going to get him on, Shelby. You better get a good night's sleep the night before, because we got about 100 people wanting to come on to talk about Ron. We can't do it, but we're going to try. On next week's show, the fastest 90 minutes may go into 2 hours. I don't know. We'll check that. But anyway, Tony, I appreciate it. But Tony's one of those guys that's touched a lot of bases in his career, what is with Ducks Unlimited, Cabela's, and now, of course, right now with the TOWA. But I know you have a passion for the sport of turkey hunting, right, Tony?
I do. I've hunted turkey successfully since 1980. kind of tells my age also, but I killed my first turkey in Missouri in 1980.
First turkey, and you remember it, right?
Oh, yes, because my father-in-law called it in for me, and he had hunted turkeys since the 1962, I believe, when they had the first modern season in Missouri.
Yes.
And he'd killed a bird every year since then.
And he called it in for your father-in-law called it in for you, right?
Yes, he did, because he said he heard me calling, and he said, "No thanks, you let me do it."
And he brought you home too afterwards too. That's pretty good.
That's right. He brought me home and actually fed me and let me stay at the house too.
That's pretty good. Well, I realize when you hear this and everything, and we're asking all the guys, and I got to ask Andy Tweed during this segment here as a wildlife officer. This is not. This is a busy time for you guys.
Absolutely.
Starting today.
Yes.
Because you had the youth hunts last weekend, and I know how much you love the youth and getting involved in that. So what about for you guys, Andy? What is this next days leading up to May the 25th?
Well, we're just out checking for compliance, make sure everybody's tagged their birds.
Okay.
You got to tag it before you drag it now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And make sure. And the biggest problem we've got here in West Tennessee, hunting without permission.
Hunting without
people
permission
just
now.
See a spot of woods, nobody's standing there, they just go in and hunt it.
Yeah.
And of course, we're in a crime-free area here in Memphis.
We are in a crime-free area. Tell me where. Tell me where.
Andy,
hold it now.
And guys,
yes.
hang on.
All right.
No turkey hunter has ever stepped over a property line after hearing a bird gobble.
Never.
Never.
Can we keep that in the show? I didn't know if we can lose that line or not, but well, it's part of the thing because I know we lose track of where we're going. Pitt, what is the farthest you've ever had to go to retrieve a bird?
You talking about a turkey?
Yeah.
A turkey?
Yes, a turkey.
I shot one in New Zealand that fell down about 1,000-foot mountain and tumbled all the way almost.
Oh, boy. That's what I thought. I've heard that New Zealand story. I was hoping he said that and remembered it because that's...
By the time I got down to it and looked back up from where I came, I felt like I needed a medevac to get back up.
Oh, boy.
I had to carry that
How many
thing
property
all the way
lines
back
did you
up.
cross to do it?
Cooksey asked, how many property lines did you cross, Pat?
On that hunt, none. But
None.
Downhill.
The statute of limitations is up on some of this. So
It's up in statute of limitations.
I've crossed a few.
And Tony's listening to this. We know these stories are true.
Well, a turkey gobbling will make people go deaf, dumb, and blind. I mean.
Yeah. What would you say, Tony?
Well, if they're not true, they ought to be.
They ought to be. That's right. Yeah, when it comes right down to it. And, of course, we're sitting here with the pun master himself. He's only snuck in one pun in all this show. He said he used to
work at a lumber yard.
He used to work at a lumber yard, and what'd you find out?
Well, I got bored and quit.
He got bored and quit. Okay, now so you got to listen to this. You got to keep it up with Ginn. You got me another pun real quickly?
Yeah, I hang out at McDonald's in Millington.
Yes, you do.
And one of my friends got run over by a bulldozer.
Oh, no.
And I went to see him at the hospital. I said, what room is he in? He said 102, 103, and 104.
That's kind of hard, but we got to put up with it. And so Tony, now the TOWA is doing good, right? We're okay, right? I mean,
yes, sir, we are. We're okay, and we're planning our 2025 annual conference for the last week in October.
Okay.
And once again, we're going to be at Blue Bank Resort. It looks like. Well,
that's a great place to go. And when we go there, who do we think about? Ron Wong.
Well, we think about Mike Hayes.
And we think about Ron Wong, too.
And we think about Ron Wong.
Because that's Ron's place, too. And, of course, the late Mike Hayes loves us up there and everything. But appreciate it, Tony. Okay, buddy. You have a good one. We'll talk to you. Bye.
Sounds good, Larry. Talk to you next week.
Next week. Bye. Tony Dolle. And I'm glad to hear we're going back to Blue Bank Resort. That's one of my favorite places. And I will make an announcement. I am going up to the White River in May for a little trout fishing up there, but we'll talk about that later on. So let's get back into the turkey conversation. And I know, Bill, you're with the Tennessee Wildlife Federation with Mike Butler and all the great gang up there, and you guys stay on top of a lot of this stuff. And Andy, of course, is. Are you still shooting for May 30th? What's a?
Oh yeah.
May 30th? Is that pretty close?
Yeah, they want to get rid of me before then, but I told them that's when I'm going.
That's when you're going. Okay, what are you going to say, Bill?
There's something looking good that Andy will have wished this came along long ago.
What's that?
The General Assembly, it looks like they're going to pass a bill to increase the fines for poaching. We were just kind of laughing and joking about crossing property lines. It looks like they're going to increase the fines judges can impose for people trespassing and poaching.
Really?
In Tennessee, yep.
Are they calling that the Tweed bill?
Yes.
I mean, it's Boss Tweed, not Andy Tweed. Boss Tweed.
Boss Tweed.
You're not.
I am related. He is a first cousin.
Hold it now. We found out something, Bill, that Andy Tweed is a first cousin to Boss Tweed. Mm-hmm. Now I don't know which Boss Tweed you're talking about. Maybe one of your Uncle Tweeds when it comes around to it. Well, that's good. Okay, all right. We want to help do all that we can, but the season does open today. Goes through May the 25th. I'm looking at all the rules and regulations for the spring turkey season. Young Sportsman was last weekend. I heard a lot of good reports. Did you hear some good reports, Andy?
I heard a few, but you got to remember we had 16 inches of rain down here.
Well, most of the birds. Was a little rough. Yeah, most of the birds were floating by.
Yeah, most of them were paddleboarding. They were easy to shoot. They were easy to pick off.
Okay, well, I've got to. This is the time I'm going to break the conversation up and tell you my first turkey. Okay, I know you're just anxiously waiting for it, because I didn't start turkey hunting until later in life. I'm the son of a used car salesman. I was too busy selling Kaiser Frazier's back there with my dad a long time ago, and I didn't have a chance. But I got a good friend in Hardeman County, the Tigner family, and we hunted in out near Bolivar, Middleton, in that area right there. And he and I hunted opening day, and then everybody went over to the Sharecropper to eat lunch. That was the place in Middleton area, and there, Hornsby in that area there, and then we went over there, and all the boys used to brag about how many turkeys they killed and everything like that. So not too long after dawn, we got one. My friend Willard killed a nice turkey, and another one was out there, and he said, "Shoot that other one! Shoot!" Well, I was waiting for that. 12 gauge for me. I had it propped up with 3 sticks and everything else. But so I shot, and the bird just sat there and looked at me. It was just looking around. It was looking around, and he said, "Did you shoot?" And I said, "Yeah, I shot. Why is he still sitting out there?" So we went out there, and we double-checked it. We got up there close to the bird. Well, I have a new way to kill birds now, turkeys now. Just shoot the legs out from under it, and it'll just go down, and then take it away. So yeah, it was a. Yeah, I took it. Well, that's not the way I've killed the rest of them, but that was a kind of unusual one to do that. But I thought I'd tell that because nobody's going to remember it anyway. But I do remember it because it started the journey. Turkeys are not easy to kill. I had people ask me, "Well, how many did you get last year? 5 or 6?" No, I hope not. I didn't, Andy. Okay, I didn't because what's the bag limit, Steve? Tennessee? 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does that show you how tough they are? Yes. Yeah. And we have some closures now too. Bogota and I think some other places have now closed because of what?
The floodwaters.
The floodwaters. Yep. And Shelby Farms has always got water, it seems like. But anyway, check your rules and regulation. It is 2 statewide hunt, 1 male turkey per day, not to exceed 2 per season, and only 1 can be a Jake, right? Okay, we got that. All right, let's take a break. Come right back. 2 segments to go. 2 segments to go. We're coming right back with Russell Ginn from our good friends at Rolling Thunder Game Calls, and hopefully Billy Yargus. Always like to talk to Billy. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, and you can hear the music in the background. Keep going, Steve Turpin. There you go. This is one of my favorite radio shows of the year. We've been on the air, going in our 25th year on the air, based out of Memphis here, 9 to 10:30 every Saturday morning. Good morning to all you folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM from 6 to 7:30. And, of course, in Jackson, Tennessee on News Talk 101.5 FM from 6:30 to 8. And it is turkey time. And we've got a couple more guests on the line with us as we talk turkey on one of my favorite shows of the year. One of them is normally in studio. But, you know, when you work for a taskmaster, you got to do what you can do. No, I'm just kidding. It's always good to have Russell Ginn on with us from the Rolling Thunder Game Calls. Good Saturday, Russell.
Good Saturday, Larry. How are y'all?
Glad to have you. And then another regular that you folks know. You hear the name. He's already been hunting in Florida and Alabama. And he's working on turkey calls right now probably. And that's our good friend Billy Yargus. Hey, Billy, good morning.
Hey, Larry, how are you?
We're doing great. Let's talk turkeys. All right. Bill Cooksey's on the line with us as he's listening in, and we're asking everybody to think about their first turkey. Billy, I got to go to you first on this. It's not age before beauty, anything like that. I want to hear from Billy Yargus because I know how much turkey hunting has been a part of your life. Tell about that first one, Billy.
My first one was in 1981.
Uh-huh.
It was a Jake. I had a big gobbler coming with a bunch of hens, and coyote spoiled it. And the coyote come by me, and I thought really hard about shooting the coyote, and I didn't do it. And about 20 minutes later, I called in a Jake, and I ended up shooting him. And I was just as tickled over that Jake as I was that big gobbler. It was a great morning. I could see the gobbler, I could see the hens, and when the coyote messed it up, and the Jake come in there, I was just as tickled to kill him. So it was, and then not only that, the very next day, I went out and called my dad's first turkey in for him.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So how old were you, Billy, when that first one?
I was 17 the first.
17.
I did it by myself.
Yeah, so talk about the evolution of the sport since 1981, Billy. It's
got a lot better.
Yeah, the equipment's changed, the clothing's changed. What would you say, Billy, and I know this is just because I respect you and you had such a passion, I'm going to ask you about that. What would you pinpoint as maybe the some of the changes in turkey hunting that you've seen that have revolutionized the sport itself?
There's been so many different things. I mean, when you look at the decoys, the DSPs are so realistic, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then as far as the turkey calls themselves, I feel like, I know I do myself in Woodhaven as well, we try to be as consistent as we can possibly be.
Yes.
But if you buy a call this year, they can buy one next year and it sounds just like it. That was one of the reasons I got into turkey calling, was because I was just looking for a better mouth call. The only reason I got into it. I had no passion to want to build them or anything like that.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. But it's I've been very blessed. I've worked out into a full-time job and enjoy it every day.
And Pat Pitt, before we get you, Russell, hang on, but Pat Pitt's raising his hand like I'm the teacher in the room over here. When I ask him about things that, and I am the senior citizen here, Pat. Just hold it down over there, okay? Okay.
I'm catching up.
Well, there's only one way that happens, and I ain't ready for it, okay? I mean, 3 years of cancer was bad enough. Tell me, Pat, what you heard Billy, what he said. What are you saying?
The biggest change in turkey hunting?
Yeah.
Thermocells.
Yep. There you go.
Thank God.
You're back on the mosquito again. You've been on the mosquito 3 times this morning.
The older I get, the more mellow I get.
There you go.
When he said that, what was the biggest change? I thought of that.
Yeah.
And then those nice lounge chairs you can sit in.
Oh yeah.
Sleep for 4 and 5 hours at a time. It's wonderful.
All right, Turpin's over there too. I'm sorry, Billy. They're jumping on me now.
So the ammunition has gotten
extremely
good.
Okay.
There are patterns that we would have patterns in the 80s that we thought were great that were garbage now.
Okay, well we've hit
between Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and now alpha-gal, I'm saying Permanone is the biggest deal.
There you go. So we've really hit a nerve there, Billy Yargus. I'm glad you've opened the door to the subject.
There's a lot of different changes. I'm with them on the old shells that we used to shoot. We had 15 to 20 pellets in the head and neck at 30 yards. You was doing pretty good. I shoot those Ninja turkey loads by Apex, and I'm telling you, right.
There you go.
If I only had 30 in there, I'd be very surprised. I mean, there might be over 150, 200 pellets in there.
Well, I've got a new shotgun still on my way from Mossberg, and our great friend Linda Powell. I can't wait for it to be here, to be 82 and out there lugging around a 6-pound 20 gauge. I can't wait for that, but everybody tells me it's not the gun, it's the ammo and the person shooting it. Well, thank you a lot on that, but let's get it close enough. But how about you, Russell, again? You remember that first bird?
I do. I think I was probably 24, maybe 25.
Okay.
And it was up in Weakley County, and the guys that had taught me how to call and a little bit about turkey hunting, it was the first time that they let me go out on my own. And so I was out there throwing everything I could throw at them, and I started dozing off, and I remember the birds were on the other side of the property line in the yellow dot field.
Yes.
And I just so happened to make a pretty decent kiki during the spring, and I dozed off, but when I looked up, seemed like 5 minutes later, I looked up and there was 3 birds running towards me, a jake, a longbeard, and a hen.
Oh,
and as soon as that jake came into my decoy, he started flaring up, which caused the longbeard to kind of start swelling up a little bit. And he threw his head up. I didn't give him a chance, and I let him have it about 25, 30 yards.
Well, you made the magic thing there. I was just thinking, what's the closest anyone in this group has killed a turkey? How about it, Pitt? How about it? What's the closest?
From me to you.
From me to you. So about 10 yards?
No, about 8 feet.
8 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they're coming at you, they ain't getting no further away.
That's right.
8 feet. How about it, Turpin? Close. Well, that's close. I guess I can't judge anything anyway, but how about it, Billy?
Probably about 8 steps. I've been pretty notorious for setting decoys really, really close, so it makes it very interesting.
I can imagine, and to me, I've had them blow in my ear before, come up on the wrong side of the tree, and all of a sudden, and you can ask Ty Inman sometime about the turkey hunt with the former game warden. I think he's retiring too, or getting ready to, or something. And he still talks about that tree sure got smaller that we had our backs to. And it came up on my left side. You know which side I shoot. I shoot left-handed, okay? Time I got around, that turkey was, maybe he was 10 yards in. I get my distance right and everything. But so what's it about this sport, Billy Yargus, that has made you part of this for so many years? What's about turkey hunting?
Personally, I think it's a calling for me. The guy that taught me how to hunt and fish was Russell Robertson. And like I said, I called him my own bird. My first bird, I did it hunting by myself. But Russell's the one that taught me. I was just always infatuated with being able to call and get those turkeys to respond and get them to come to me. And I still do today. And I do things that most people say is wrong. I go out before the season a lot of times and I call birds in, and I just did it this morning, matter of fact.
Yeah, okay. That's all right.
Pretty close. As long as you don't spook them, I've never seen where it really affected the birds as far as the calling part of it. But if you go out and you call them in, you spook them, then that's a different story. But that's a big thing for me. If I wouldn't even get to shoot one, if I had to go out and call for other people or anything like that, I would be just as thrilled to watch somebody else kill him as myself. So.
Well, what about you, Steve Turpin? Because I've hunted with Steve. He has a tendency to walk with, like my friend Alan Houston at Ames. He said, "We're going to fur piece." Well, how far is a fur piece? He said, "It's a fur piece," And so, what is it about turkey hunting? It's your family's been so involved in all these over 100 years.
I think it just gets in your blood.
Yeah.
People every year ask me, like in January, you starting to get fired up for the season? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Stay fired up.
Stay fired up. All you got to do is follow Steve on Facebook. Yeah. I can tell he's bringing up Turpin's calls from 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. You're bringing in there. And we can switch to Russell. Russell, I know your life has changed from what happened and your accident, and you're an inspiration for so many people, Russell. And to know how much this sport has literally changed you, hasn't it, Russell? I mean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not only the chess match you play with these animals, but it's the desire to try to perfect something.
Yeah.
We all work to be a better caller. We work to be a better woodsman.
Yeah.
And so it's always, it's I don't believe it's on a decline by any means. Everybody that's truly passionate about something works towards being perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps me driven.
And I know that Cooksey, you'd say the same thing, right?
Brother, it is, to me, when you do it right, it is the most pure form of hunting in North America.
Rewarding.
Not just rewarding, but pure hunting. I mean, you have to call the birds, which is, I love doing ducks, turkeys, geese. I love calling them. But you're having to move in on them. You're having to set up, figure out where will they come to.
Yeah.
And then you sit down and you start to call them, and you may sit there and say, you know what, if I move 10 feet, he'll come.
Yeah.
And you make that move and it's right, man.
Yes. Yeah. And
there's nothing like it.
But if you're making it's wrong, there's nothing like it either. So, I mean, it's
but
part.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's a memory.
He still had a good hunt, and he's there tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a memory maker. So, Billy, if they need to get more information about what's going on with you and the company, tell us where we can go.
You can go to Woodhaven Custom Calls on the Facebook page or on my Billy Yargus Outdoors page. I'm always putting stuff up there.
Yes.
Always wearing the bottom land to make sure I don't get spotted out there against a tree.
Yeah. And Russell, what about you, Russell? Give us where we can get some more information about Rolling Thunder.
You can get more information at rollingthundergamecalls.com. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So, I mean, we're local for anybody in West Tennessee for the most part.
Yeah, just stop by. I haven't done it. I'm going to do it this spring. I'm telling you. I keep saying that, but you need to go to their new place. It's not new anymore. In Somerville, on the east side of Somerville, right where it used to be the Brown Sporting Goods, J.B. Brown and all his folks. But Spence and all the gang have done a great job. Thank you, guys. Go get them this spring, and we'll talk down the road, okay? All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Russell. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Let's wrap this fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming up. Thank you. Do one more time. One more. There you go. There you go. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hit it, Steve Turpin. Oh, I love that. I love that. All right. No, they're coming. Whoa, look outside. There goes one. No, that's a former boss. All right, no, all right. Steve Turpin making music over there. Pat Pitt. Thanks, Pat, for hanging. I know it's getting late for you. The clouds are gathering around you, but sometimes I feel like Don Rickles over here. I don't want to be that way, but Pat has meant so much to so many people in his lifetime of representing the outdoors, and I appreciate you, buddy, for the still going strong.
Larry, I want to know whether it was you or Pat that cut down that first cedar tree that the first Turpin used to make a box call out of.
Well, it was my cousin, but it was, Pat wasn't around then, okay? Neither one of us around. Thank you, Bill. You're always a man for good words as we close out the show. But, no. Andy Tweed, thank you for being here, too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for bringing the pun master himself. We're not through with you yet. Just try to stay awake. I got some numbing sauce if you need it over
I'm
here.
fine.
Okay,
I'm fine.
all right. We're going to close this baby out on one of my favorite shows of the year. It's the Turkey Hunting Show, and sometimes we can get him on, sometimes we can't, but we got him today, and that's our good friend Duke Turnage. Good morning, Duke.
Good morning.
You don't mind talking turkey, do you, Duke? I mean,
I don't mind. Don't mind.
Well, I'm asking everybody in talking about their first turkey. I don't mean, I had a teacher who was a turkey. I can tell you. No, what about the first turkey that you harvested? I don't like that. You don't use that word, do you, Pat? It's killed, isn't it? I mean, what do you call it? You use the word
Take,
harvest?
take.
Take?
Yeah.
Always killed. That's what I always think a harvest has something to do with the crop. Okay, but and Duke's from the Dyersburg area, and there's plenty of crops and plenty of water up there, Duke. First, I got to ask you, how's the situation up in your area?
I think it might actually have fell just a little bit.
Wow. Yeah.
But we're watching that Mississippi because that's going to, determine all these other rivers,
Yeah, I've already heard the Bogata's out. I mean, they've closed some of that area underwater. But anyway, talk about that first one, buddy. You remember it?
Yeah, 1978, I think.
All right, got these years. Okay.
It was a Jake, believe it or not.
Well, that's
we
okay.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. Where?
Yeah, in Missouri.
In Missouri. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And walk us through the experience. Was it one that changed your life?
Oh yeah, I was hooked before then. I started about 4 years before that, but I mean, I just kept coming back for more punishment.
More punishment. And you couldn't get the punishment in West Tennessee at that time, hardly, could you?
No. I moved over here in, 84.
Okay.
And I think I killed my first one over here in 93.
Yeah.
So that'll tell you, yeah. Dyer County didn't have a season.
Didn't have a season, yeah.
Till 94.
Yes. And you heard that, Turpin, you talk about that, and you knew that, and your family, everybody thinks the first turkey was born in Shelby Forest. And, I mean, and then we started shipping them out, But what year did you kill that first one? You said you were
89.
89. Okay, all right. And his family's been after him for a long time. So you were actually making turkey calls when there weren't any turkeys.
Yeah.
That just now hit me. That you got a business making something that nobody. I mean, it's pretty amazing how you.
My Uncle Tom started out making turkey calls, but that was a very low ebb.
Yeah.
And then he got into making duck calls.
Okay.
But turkeys were always our passion.
Okay.
And that just stuck.
Yeah. And Duke, you got so involved in this that you become pro staff and all these different kind of things. Does that kind of blow your mind after the start that you had?
Oh yeah. We didn't, like I said, we didn't know what we were doing. My dad just about choked on a Penwoods diaphragm in the 70s.
I've been close to that. Yeah.
And anyway, that was one of my first diaphragms. But I started making them in, I think, 87.
Yeah.
And then I got on with Primos. And
you spent a lot of time with it. Yeah.
I quit making diaphragms after that. Yeah.
Well, I know Will made my own. I still got it. He made me my own Larry Ray diaphragm.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think I literally died 3 times trying to use it. I don't think.
Make you gag a lot.
Oh, gag is not the word, particularly when you're at a red light and you're over there and they think, "What's going on with that guy? I'm blowing my turkey call." No, he's dying over there in the front seat, But and he kept saying, "Yeah, you can do it. Just it takes practice and practice."
Amen to that.
And that, right? I mean, so what's the most difficult? Turpin, listen to me now, and listen to this, Bill Cooksey. What is the most difficult turkey call to master?
You're asking me?
I'm asking all y'all.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd say diaphragm.
Diaphragm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or wing bone.
All right, here we come. You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say diaphragm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about it, Cooksey? You're listening.
Larry, I'm going to say my weakness is a box call.
A box call. Okay.
Diaphragms, no problem.
Really?
Wing bones, I feel pretty good on, and a glass or slate call, love it, use it all day. And I can't get good with a box call.
How about it, Pat Pitt?
I say diaphragm.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you can make mistakes quicker.
You
with
can.
A diaphragm than
Yeah.
a box call. I can stop a box call.
But a diaphragm, to me, somebody told me the only way you can learn to do a diaphragm is have a mouthful of chewing tobacco and practice on it.
Well, I didn't know you could trim them. That's why I kept gagging.
Oh, they can trim them. They can make them fit your mouth. You know, all mouths are not the same.
That's true.
Some of us had some people have big mouths.
That's right.
You know, when it comes down to it.
What'd you look at me for?
I didn't want me, but so Duke, what's the big deal with turkey hunting for you? What does it bring to you?
Man, I don't know. It hooked me early. I mean, just hearing that turkey and you know, it's not like a deer. You know, a deer don't let you know where he's at until it's usually too late.
Too late, yeah.
But we turkey hunted before we deer hunted. Mm-hmm. We didn't have deer in that area in Missouri.
Yeah.
But we had turkeys because of the restocking program they had.
Yeah.
And it's just being in spring woods. I mean, I've got Lyme disease from being in the spring woods.
You have. I knew that. Yeah. Yep. And I know, Steve, to me, the trumpet call that you guys have perfected is that your most famous, you think? I mean, you've had them, all yours are great, but to me, the trumpet is Turpin. It goes T and T.
Yeah, and, that's especially like in the last 5 years, it has really exploded. So you get a lot of everybody's trying to make trumpets now. And I tell people, it's like they're all basically imitation of ours, variations of ours. Because we were the originals.
You were the original,
right?
Mm-hmm. And the name trumpet came because you're playing it, though it's different because you're sucking in.
Right.
Compared to us, I played trumpet 13 years in college, marching bands and all like that. I had a lot of wind. But when it comes to the trumpet, when I start sucking in, I think of my diaphragm, and I done sucked 3 of them down my gut. Trying to learn. It's impossible to drive around and practice a trumpet call when it comes right down to it. But well, Duke, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you being with us. Always good to talk to you. Nothing but success, buddy. And tell everybody up there hello for us, okay, man? All right.
I'll do it. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Duke. All right, buddy.
Y'all get Woodhaven calls, man.
Let's get all that water out of your area, too, okay? All right,
trying
buddy.
to.
All right, thank you.
Steve, I love you, buddy.
Okay.
Love you.
Steve, all right, Duke Turnage. We kind of about doubled up on Woodhaven there, but they've been good folks to Outdoors with Larry Ray for a long time. All right, Pun Master, we need some real words of wisdom to close out this
Well, let me tell you about my first turkey.
Oh, tell me about your first turkey.
Yeah, it was a butterball.
What do you mean it's a butterball? Did you shoot the legs out from under it?
I sure did. I ate both of them.
You ate both the legs out from under it, yeah.
Well, you heard about Little Red Riding Hood, didn't you?
What happened to Little Red Riding Hood?
Oh, she had a tragic accident, and the doctor says she's going to pull through, but she's not out of the woods yet.
Oh, you got to listen, buddy.
Yep.
It'll go right past you, Cooksey, if you don't listen. I mean,
I'm hip, bro.
You got it. You got it. All right, let me tell you about next week's show and let these guys get out of here because they're already working on their phones now, and I don't want to take them too much longer because 2 of them are asleep. But, tribute to Ron Wong next week. That's going to be a tough show, folks. Still no funeral arrangements as of Thursday. I'll let you know when it happens, but it's been a tough 10 days for me in losing Ron so unexpectedly. But we're going to have a wonderful show next week. Star-studded show with people wanting to call in to talk about what Ron Wong meant to the fishing world, to St. Jude, the Make-A-Wish, to FedEx and all the other things, whether it's a rendezvous and cooking and everything that he did. So we're going to have some big-time people that want to share their thoughts, and we're going to have we've already got some products that's going to bear Ron's name.
All right.
Yeah, we've got some people in the industry that want to create some things that will pay recognition to
probably
Ron.
Probably a fish lure.
Probably some of them are. Yeah, I'm not going to give it all away. And, of course, in August, we'll all be in Springfield, Missouri for the Legends of the Outdoor Hall of Fame. Ron will go into the Hall of Fame, and I'll be there to I think I'm going to have to say some words, but we are going to leave an empty chair. But I'm sure he always said there's more Wongs in the world than Smiths. So I don't know how many Wongs will be up there, but we'll see. Thank you, Steve Turpin. Thank you, Pat Pitt. I'm just punning you, buddy. I appreciate you. I really do. Andy?
Yes, sir.
Stay in touch.
All right.
Short timer.
You got it.
Take care of my man here.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Yes, okay.
Got it.
Shelby, getting out of here. As I say each and every week, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what do we always say on this show?
God bless the USA.